Hello, I'm student clinician Amber Fields, and today I'll be conducting an office visit here with.
Chelsea.
All right. Hello, I'm student clinician Amber Fields. What is your name?
Chelsea.
Nice to meet you, Miss Chelsea. What brings you in on today?
Lower back pain.
Sorry to hear that. I will try to help you the best way I can. When did it start?
Last week.
When about last week did it start?
Last Wednesday.
How long does it last?
Throughout the day.
What do you do to make it better?
Heating pad.
What activities do you do to make it worse? Or what activities make it worse?
Working out.
Working out? Have you always had this problem?
No.
Alright. Well, I'm sorry that you're experiencing this, and I'll do it if I can to help you. But before we get started, I'm going to have you fill out a case history. With that, we're going to compare and contrast your family's history with your own health history. And then we'll do a physical examination, following taking some x-rays to help you to see where we can possibly rule out some issues. We'll also do a chiropractic palpation exam, where I find different subluxations to create listings to address. After doing the exams, I'll correlate the findings and come up with a listing so the next time that you come on a visit, I can have something to present you with. If you have any questions, let me know, and always feel free to call the office.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Hello, I'm Amber Fields, and I'll be doing a interview with my fellow classmate, Chelsea Davis, here, and I'm going to be asking her some questions over the topics that we covered here in class. All right. What are 3 reasons to why people seek healthcare to you?
You said what are 3 reasons why people seek healthcare?
Yeah.
As patient-wise, working-wise.
I'll be more specific as patient-wise.
So 3 reasons why people pursue healthcare would be A, because they need healthcare, B, they need to learn more about their health conditions, they're not well educated on it, or C, they need a primary care physician or provider.
Okay. What is the primary clinical focus of a chiropractor, regardless of the reason the patient comes in to visit?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
What do you think is the primary clinical focus of a chiropractor, regardless of the reason of a patient coming in to seek care?
I think the primary reason is basically to work with the spine, neurological disorders, and it's not just curing low back pain or people with headaches. Like, people actually walk in with real disorders, autism, ADHD. They may come in for that because maybe an MD recommended that they do surgery and the parents can't afford surgery, so they have to find a holistic route or a cheaper route than what the MDs or other physicians are recommending.
Okay. Define the term ideal practice.
When I hear or think of ideal practice, I think of what would I want in my ideal practice. So to me, that is, what would I name my ideal practice? Of course, I would want something that's named by what I believe in, what I stand for, and what I want my patients to believe in and stand for. So when I think of ideal practice, I think of what makes me happy, what will I feel like make a difference throughout the community and everywhere else throughout the world.
Okay. So in other words, what questions would have to be answered in order to define your practice? What questions do you think that?
I'm a very all-around person, so I'm interested in doing wellness with the focus in pediatrics and sports chiropractic. So I just want to see a ranges of ages from newborn babies to elderly people, because I feel like I can work through chiropractic and healing everybody, not just a certain group of people.
Okay, cool. What are some practice options you would give your patients in your practice to be used to introduce their friends to your practice?
Exercising. I find that a lot more between like the ages, I want to say, of 20 and up. When you're out of that high school and you're in college, and say you're not playing sports and stuff like that, or even just if you're just working and you didn't go to college, I find that a lot of people are not, they're very tense throughout their back. So I feel like I would introduce yoga and stretching because that's very imperative. People don't know, but yoga actually is a way for you to actually lose weight and stretch your muscles at the same time. So I would definitely introduce that factor.
Okay, then. What are the 5 major categories of marketing for you then? What do you think is important in marketing?
5 major categories. I would say 1, you need to have that wow factor. You need to ask yourself what makes your practice stands out from the practice down the street or the practice across town. What makes your practice so special to where people would come to your practice, even if they're traveling from a different state, a different country? That's the type of practice I want to have. So I feel like every practice should have that wow factor, that attention seeker of what makes your practice so special from everyone else's. The second thing I think someone should have is being confident in the work that you do. A lot of people feel like they become a doctor, but they lack that confidence in patient care. So how do you expect someone to believe you if you don't believe in yourself? So I definitely should have confidence because when people see you on commercials, when they see you on TV, billboards, flyers, Instagram, wherever, mostly on social media, people go to you based off what they see on social media. So I feel like you need to have that too. A third thing I feel like you need to have is how do you carry yourself? How do you want people to view you when it comes to your values, your experience, and to come to you as not only as a doctor, but a family, a friend, anything. So when people view me whether like I'm in school or in practice when I'm older, I want to be that, want to make sure I conduct that same person because it could just take a drop of a second for anything to happen, anything to be recorded for you to lose everything. So you have to remember that you are your brand. You are a walking brand. So you have to remember that anything can damage that. You make your own paycheck, no one else. A fourth thing that I feel like you should have for marketing is a budget. I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to not just in healthcare, but in business in general, a lot of people don't like sort out a budget. No, you're not always supposed to go with the cheaper route or, hey, what's this? But me personally, I'm into supporting friends. So I have friends that are in informational technology. They can make my website versus me paying $450 for someone to go make it. I can still pay my friend to do it, but not for as much. So I'm also promoting my friend's business. So it's very important that you do that because if you go off and start just marketing with other people that you don't know and you have friends that can do certain things like do flyers and websites, not only would they feel some type of way, but I do believe in when I make it, we all make it. So I feel like that's very imperative and important to have. And the last thing that I would say is that make sure you're smart with your marketing. Like I said, majority of marketing these days are on social media. So honestly, you don't even have to pay anybody to market yourself. Like I said, you are your brand. So you create an Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, and just start retweeting and following people, following more doctors, following more patients, getting the word out there. You can honestly do that on your own. These days, you don't need a billboard. People are mostly found throughout social media.
I agree with that. Well elaborated. What are the 3 goals of healthcare for you? Where do you see healthcare in your future? Where do you think healthcare is headed?
You said what?
Where do you think healthcare is headed?
So I'll answer that question first, where I think healthcare is headed. I can't really say where it's headed because it's based off who is in presidency right now. So I feel like right now healthcare is headed to the left instead of heading straight forward and moving on. We're kind of headed.
You feel like that?
I feel like that because, for instance, with abortion laws, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I absolutely agree with that. But what I do disagree with is people making decisions for the opposite sex.
Okay.
That's a problem for me. I feel like within healthcare, when it comes to anybody over in healthcare, I feel like we shouldn't have men deciding what women should do with their body.
Right.
If anything, it should be women deciding what women do with their body and men deciding what men do with their body. So that's why I say we're going back to the olden days where men control everything.
Right.
We're not moving forward. So I feel like as of right now, currently, healthcare is not in a good position and it needs to be fixed. And same with Obamacare. You know, some people may disagree or agree with Obamacare, but until someone else comes up with a better plan or a better solution to fix healthcare, then I feel like no one should comment on it. But like I said, everyone's entitled to their own comments and opinions.
I agree with that.
And what was the other question?
You actually answered both questions in the same sentence.
Okay.
So before we close out, I'm going to ask you, what does power mean to you?
A lot of people have this thought in their mind that power to them is having control over, you know, other people or control over their job or whatever. But power to me is actually making a change in someone else's life. That's power to me, because I meet a lot of people that are big on people's energy, and like, you know, growing up I never really focused on people's energy, but now when I meet people I really focus on the type of vibes and either positive or negative energy that they give out. So I feel like when I meet a patient, like meet a future patient or meet someone just in general throughout life, I want them to have a lasting memory of me, of a positive vibe. So power to me is being able to pass good energy on to the next person, because maybe that person is having a bad day. Maybe that person just thinks that, hey, I'm not cut out to live. And you can be that person to exchange energy with them and change that to themselves. So to me personally, that's power.
Most definitely. How do you plan on conducting a new patient orientation for your office?
I want my office to be family oriented. I more so don't want it to just be, hey, fill out this new form, you're a patient. Like, I actually want to, every time we take in a certain amount of patients, so say we have 10 patients that sign up for the month or whatever, I want to take a Sunday out of that month to come in and decorate the office and have like a little party. I want to have welcome baskets for all my patients of tools they can use at home to work out with. Also, they can have little stretching guides, yoga pamphlets, meal prep pamphlets of how to live a healthy and better lifestyle. So I want them to feel like that I do care, because majority of doctors don't. And I'm not speaking just for, you know, anybody, but we tend to, these days, a lot of doctors just care to fix the problem and fix what you're doing and not to get to know a person. And I feel like that's what we lack, especially when we have people from all walks of life who don't feel comfortable with coming in and telling people what's wrong with them. You want to make a person feel that you do care about them, that you do want to improve their health, and you do still want them to come back to you in the future and refer friends and family members or whatever. So that's how I feel.
Okay. So what does management by agreement mean to you, to kind of part out that when a person says we agree, you know, management by agreement?
To me, when I hear management by agreement, I basically think of that you have an equal agreement with someone that you're over. Say you're managing someone and you just have an established like document with them stating that whatever you hired them for, that they're supposed to continue and do. So to me, that's what I hear when I hear practice agreement.
Okay. So before we get ready to close out this video, would you please elaborate the simplest way what does chiropractic mean to you if you were explaining it to someone randomly on the street?
So if I was to explain chiropractic to someone on the street, I would basically walk up to them and ask them, how do they feel? Like, how do you feel? So how do you feel today?
I feel good today.
Why do you feel good today? What makes you feel good today?
Been having a good day so far.
Okay, good. So you want to know what would make you feel better?
What could?
Chiropractic.
How is that possible? How is this so?
And that's when I would go into how chiropractic is actually a holistic medicine. Well, not even medicine. It's just a holistic approach, okay. Let me say that, to curing people without the use of medication, but actually through my hands and energy. So you should try it sometime.
Okay, I will.
And see, that would make a person very interested. And then after that, you're going to be like, how do I get your phone number, your contact information, your card? When can I come in? And that also goes right along with marketing.
Right. I like that. Well, thank you, Ms. Sheldon. Awesome interview.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.